Amid rapid development near the Bushkill Creek in Palmer Township, the municipal government and the Bushkill Stream Conservancy, a volunteer watershed organization, coordinated to create a living pond and to plant native vegetation to manage increased runoff. Kate Brandis, who was a watershed specialist for Northampton County when this project was implemented, reflected on the process of establishing Mill Race Park.
The project was started right around 2007. So it was a time of incredible growth in that part of our area where there were just an incredible amount of new housing developments and population growth and building going on. And so for the people that I was working with in the Bushkill Stream Conservancy, the growth was exciting on one hand, but also a concern, I think, since they're very concerned about the health of the creek. So at the time of the development is called the Villages of Mill Race, and again, it was new around 2007 when this project began. The Bushkill Stream Conservancy organization had always worked closely with their municipal partners. In this case, it was a township called Palmer Township. The Bushkill Stream Conservancy urged Palmer Township to require this park and these sort of green spaces be part of the development that was happening in 2007. Because the development is so close to the creek, the Stream Conservancy wanted a way in which to slow down stormwater from reaching the creek directly from the development, which was just upstream or kind of uphill. So they wanted to slow down the water, and they also wanted to be able to clean the water in some way. And so the idea was to install this pond. It's an artificial pond, but it was instead of kind of the normal stormwater ponds that are mowed and kind of open and there's water, this was meant to be completely naturalized. So it was planted with native plants, very heavily with trees, and stormwater was funneled toward this location. But the idea was for water to, as the stormwater moved across the surface, to kind of go through this natural area, but then by the time it reached the creek would be quite a bit, less, for one thing, because it had a chance to kind of infiltrate with all that vegetation, but also the water that did reach the creek would be much cleaner.
Kate also provided an update on what the site is like today.
That it is quite mature. The small little seedlings that we planted, are sizable trees now. The riparian buffer is very healthy. That living pond also has many trees and lots of different wildlife and perennials and things, native plants that have matured over time. And it's an interesting study in kind of succession of space, I think, from initial planting to kind of 10 years plus down the road, what a project can look like.
Both the planting itself and educating new residents about the importance of naturalized areas were important steps in protecting the local watershed. Partnerships with the county, Bushkill Stream Conservancy volunteers, and others made this project possible for Palmer Township. After Wilson Borough in Northampton County updated its shade tree ordinance in 2013, their Shade Tree Commission started applying annually for grant funding to plant as many as 100 trees per year. Their goal is to increase the tree canopy to reduce the effects of extreme heat and to improve air quality. Pamela Taylor, chair of the Shade Tree Commission, discussed their tree planting efforts.
Noticing that our borough was becoming barren, denuded, and of course we were seeing the effects of that with increased heat and emissions that weren't getting processed. In order to be able to get rolling again, I didn't want to impact negatively the residents and their pocketbooks. So we applied for grants, and in 2017, we received our first Tree Vitalize grant, and we started by planting 100 trees. Public Works helped us by digging holes because we were using large bucketed trees. So they helped us with using machines to dig the holes. And they also helped us with doing all of the one calls to UGI. And the engineers helped us with the plans and also with the grant application. And then we brought the community in for the actual tree planting, which was a lot of fun. We had Boy Scout troops and we had Girl Scout troops. And we actually also had probationers come in from Easton. We had 50 to 60 volunteers, which made very quick work of the planting on the day. So we did a lot of education. We have a Shade Tree Commission Facebook page, and we also have a tab on the borough website, and we put flyers. And so we keep informing the public that we are planting with care. We are planting in keeping in mind the overhead wires. We're keeping in mind the very small space between the curb and the sidewalk. So in the first year, we had a lot of resistance. And I've noticed over the years that now it's becoming a thing. It's becoming, this is our borough, and this is something that's better for our boroughs. I think that anytime you draw a community together to give something of themselves to their own environment, that creates a sense of ownership. It creates a sense of responsibility to their surroundings, not just to their own little corner of their property, but also the entire borough. I think that's a powerful thing.
Tree plantings come with a range of benefits, from reducing heat to managing stormwater to improving air quality. Tree-lined streets can increase people's quality of life as well as sense of pride in where they live, and tree plantings are a way for residents of all ages to contribute to their community alongside their neighbors. In summer 2023, Lower Allen Township, located near Harrisburg in Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, installed 2 solar arrays to power their municipal buildings and traffic lights. This project helped build the community's resiliency by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, providing needed cover for police vehicles, and setting a positive example for other governments, businesses, and individuals. Township Manager Tom Vernau explained what went into this project and how it has benefited the township.
We were first approached about this, and I should say the company that did it, Solar Renewable Inc., they're in our township. Their headquarters is in our township. So I did get a call from a young man that was started in 2021, and we didn't enter into an agreement to do this until March of 22, because it took us a year, not steady work, but looking into this sort of thing, talking to people about its effectiveness and efficiency, just to see if it was the kind of project we wanted to do. I think what finally pushed us over then was that solar's not going away. It's only going to get better. We will have to replace panels, but the panels that we have to replace these with are going to be better technology, probably lighter, probably more efficient in generating. So we didn't really see a downside as far as the technology going away. My advice would be don't be afraid of the cost. So when you take the revenue from the sale of the tax credits plus the savings in the electricity, it far exceeds what we're paying them in debt service at this point for it. So we're still making probably about $50,000 a year. And once we are self-funded, once we get out from under them, our only cost will be interest expenses and annual maintenance, and our savings will shoot up probably double. It is expensive, but if you can find a way to do it. Take your time, do your research, talk with your providers, and see what they can do for you. The response has been great. People are very excited about this. If anything else, it makes us feel like we're doing something for the ecology and for the economy.
Municipal officials can play a major role in initiating these types of projects, and they often find that the upfront investments of money and time pay dividends for their communities. Lower Allen Township invested in other sustainability initiatives at municipal buildings and on surrounding property as well, including rain gardens, pervious pavement, and a level spreader for stormwater. The Riegelsville Borough Hall in Bucks County was open to the public as a cooling center on multiple days in 2022 and 2023. The Borough Hall, which is in a shared building with the public library, invited people from anywhere to come inside to the air conditioning to stay cool, plus ice water was provided. Riegelsville Emergency Manager Frank Preedy described the steps involved in operating the cooling center during extreme heat events.
How it starts is that I get an email or a phone call from Bucks County Emergency Management, and the criterion is 3 days over 90 degrees. But say, for the sake of argument, I get an email Friday, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that the cooling station should be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I get the email, I know, and I make sure Sherry knows, and I will usually let the mayor know. We have a new mayor, Bowenzelli, and usually the president and or the vice president of Borough Council know. I go over to Stop and Shop in Jersey, and I get it's a cell of 15 waters. I get my ice either from the fire station or from Mary's store at the end of coming south on 611 there. And basically, I'm here 9-ish to 5-ish on the days that I'm supposed to be here. I'll do it again this summer, which given the climate, I'll probably have to do it again. What I did is I went to promote it. So what I did is Channel 69 News. Now in 22, I had a photojournalist come down. 89.7 on the FM dial, DVR. And I also do 89.3, which is in Warminster, Hatboro, because they handle the southern end of the county. We had at least 7 cooling stations open on 22 and about 5 or 6 this past summer. This summer, what it boils down to is when the library is open, tell people, go upstairs to the library, it's air conditioned. You can read a book. And I have the water here, don't leave without water. And tell your neighbors. So this year we did about the busiest day we had. I guess we had about 20 people.
Cooling stations are a critical service during dangerous heat events, and the central requirements are just an air-conditioned space and access to water. Partnering with an existing institution like a public library can expand a cooling center's reach while reducing any additional staffing and setup needs. To be designated as a cooling center, municipal staff or officials can start by reaching out to the relevant county Department of Public Health or Emergency Management. Community engagement and partnerships are important to a wide variety of projects and decisions related to resiliency. For example, in the city of Bethlehem, a recent project by researchers at Lehigh University asked community members to mark on a map where trash was accumulating or causing issues. The map they created was used by the Health Bureau and the Recycling Bureau to direct cleanup efforts to the most affected areas. Dr. Kate Jackson from Lehigh University and Anna Smith, Director of Community Action Development Bethlehem, explained their approach to involving community members in developing solutions to the issues that affect them.
Like, okay, we know these are issues. Let's get together. Let's sit down with our neighbors and let's hear what are their concerns about quality of life in their neighborhoods. And let that guide our work for the coming year. So we held these 4 meetings last spring. And, trash, it kind of surprised us. It emerged as one of the primary issues we were hearing about in every single neighborhood of our community. We were hearing about trash in a lot of different ways. We had like 8 cleanups over the past year. And that's one great way to get neighbors out, feeling like they're doing something about the issue, cleaning up their own neighborhoods and parks and meeting one another. And, those cleanups really became a tool for engaging folks in our neighborhoods who would see us and be like, what are you doing? Or what's going on here? And we'd start to talk about it. And, that led to a lot of those folks coming out to additional community meetings and starting to talk to their neighbors and building a network of folks who are caring about the same issue.
The team also discussed the partnership between local government, community organizations, and residents.
I think it was the combination of, the resources put toward research, the community partners involved, and the number of different types of community representatives and entities at the table that really made this a unique potential partnership, and that led the city to say, this is something that we really want to be a part of and think could, benefit our community collectively as a whole. Let's continue these conversations.
Because it really reflected the intention of this project, which was to bring as many people together to the table to just talk first before doing anything else. So if we don't understand each other, we don't understand the differences, the unique experiences, the history, right? We're not going to get very far. I think that's what makes this a really exciting and ongoing project, because it's about so much more than one thing or one policy or one issue. It's about, I guess really it is about resiliency and building the community capacity to respond to issues and issues that are identified by the folks who are living them.
Even without university research partners, municipalities can identify resources in their own communities to help address local issues like trash, flood-prone properties, problem intersections for pedestrians, and more. Taking time to really listen to community members and view them as partners in improving the community that they live in can bring very powerful results.